Now fires, looking end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown! Gabe Davis!
This preseason has been an incredible example of how recency bias drives the football card market activity. And so this has become a great time to sell speculative backup quarterbacks, skill position players that are rookies and up and coming players. And so in this video, we're gonna break down the latest action from the 8 Week 2 preseason games yesterday, look at some of the takeaways, the major takeaways and highlights and how that's affected the football card market, and then also make some predictions about what is trending, what is changing. So let's dig in. The Tampa Bay area and the hobby can rest easy today, knowing Tom Brady is back at practice. This has not only had an impact on the fantasy value of his supporting cast and Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Russell Gage, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, but it's also had an impact on his rookie cards. We talk about that recency bias, and there has not been very much movement, if at all, and some down movement in Tom Brady's rookie card prices recently. Now, it is important to note that a lot of what drives, especially the most elite football players and their rookie card prices, is seasonal. It's cyclical. So we can look at the chart, for example, what people have recently pointed to on social media. Shout out to Lamine James.
Oh, a lake. Oh, I'm about to swimmity swim.
Is Tom Brady's iconic, super iconic 2000 Bowman Chrome Refractor. This rookie card at its high point in the playoffs and Tom Brady's Super Bowl run. In the playoffs of last year, this card was at a peak of $192,000. And recently sold 4 days ago in a PWCC Premier auction with 22 bids for $60,000. That is because of recency bias. And what has Tom Brady done? He's been on vacation the last 10 days with his family in the Bahamas. Turns out it wasn't the Masked Singer. It wasn't an obligation with Fox, just a vacation to get his head clear for the upcoming season. So now we can resume normal preseason hype for Tom Brady. The first major market mover I want to look at is Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, and his supporting cast. This game on Saturday, the Bills beat the Broncos 42-15. Now the Broncos were resting many of their starters, including Russ, Cortland Sutton, all those guys. But if we go back and look at our chart once again to see the movement, the Josh Allen base prism PSA 10 is up to $700. And if we were to look at a PSA 10 skill position base prism study here, comparison between Gabe Davis, T. Higgins, Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson, you can see that Justin Jefferson does have the highest population of 754, all the way down to the lowest being Gabe Davis at just 78. However, you look at the chart, and Gabe Davis has now surpassed T. Higgins in a resale value. The Gabe Davis PSA 10 recently just sold for $50 compared to the T. Higgins at $20. The Jonathan Taylor at $56, just $6 higher than the Gabe Davis. And so we go and look at the recently sold transaction of Gabe Davis after that big touchdown that he had from Josh Allen on Saturday. And this is definitely driving a significant amount of demand. You can see a transaction already this Monday morning for a plain blue napkin select sticker auto patch rookie card numbered out of 199 for around $60 to $65. You can see a lot of buy it now transactions, and that's how you know that people want that instant gratification. They want to get them some exposure to Gabriel Davis's rookie cards after that performance. Gabriel Davis is a key player I look at when I study recency bias and how that affects the market, because he comes off that championship game where he had 4 touchdowns against the Kansas City Chiefs, and now he's getting a big touchdown here in preseason week 2, and it's already driving his stock up more and more. For him to be more expensive than a guy like T. Higgins on the Cincinnati Bengals, who at their core metrics and their college resume, T. Higgins is a much better wide receiver. All right, real quick, if you're new here, welcome to the Football Card Quest. My name is Andy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that little bell notification icon, so you don't miss out on a single step. This is a great time to sell Gabe Davis if you are own any of his cards that you bought into in his rookie season, last year, during the middle of the season. Right now is a great time to sell them on this preseason hype and buy a T. Higgins. As Joe Burrow is now back at practice, I can see the hype picking up pretty quickly for T. Higgins once the season kicks off. Now let's look at this Colts-Lions game. The Lions did rest most of their starters, and so did the Colts, but a young man by the name of Sam Ellinger, second-year player, had a very good outing in this game. Went 9 for 11, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a long of 50 yards, had a quarterback rating of 157.8. From a backup standpoint, if anything were to happen to Matt Ryan, obviously they have Nick Foles on the depth chart, but Bam Bam, nicknamed Bam Bam Sam Ellinger, could absolutely potentially win that job. A lot of people are throwing some flyers on this young man. We could definitely see the transactions here, like an absolute signatures going for 15, but once again, I'm focused on those buy it now transactions, like this mosaic autographs here going for 32. Obviously very cheap because he is a backup quarterback, but this is the speculative nature of recency bias. Here we have a rookie ticket auto going for $55.98. You can just see the increase in buy it now transactions after the big performance Saturday. Alec Pierce, the 53rd overall pick from the 2022 draft class, was the Colts' third wide receiver last week while the starters played. This week, the Colts rested some starters, including Michael Pittman, but Alec Pierce played Saturday and played in 2 wide receiver sets, which is something he didn't do last week with the starters. This could mean that Pierce has already surpassed Paris Campbell for second on the depth chart on the outside, making Alec Pierce an every down player, and he was drafted on day 2. So Alec Pierce by nature has a higher floor than a lot of the rookies, and he should be somebody that you take some flyers on. We can definitely see the transactions for him at a low level. Certainly not anywhere near the level of a Romeo Doubs or a George Pickens, but there are absolutely demand for his rookie cards. They may continue to go up a little bit if he continues to get a bigger role and puts up impressive performances. All right, so let's talk about this Washington Commanders at the Kansas City Chiefs game. The Chiefs won this game, but it's important to note that once again, Patrick Mahomes goes out and does his thing, goes 12 for 19 with 2 touchdowns, 0 sacks. It's 125 quarterback rating, and here I've got a chart between him and Deshaun Watson just to show the 90-day data on Patrick Mahomes' prism and where he's at in comparison. Currently, that PSA 10 is just under $4,000, and you might be thinking, wow, that is down quite a bit. And you can see the cards that are up for Patrick Mahomes. There are cards going up, but these are cards that you can say are from offshoot brands, maybe not the most desirable cards here. Maybe something like this Select would be one of the most liquid out of these top 8 here on this screen. But overall, this card is still going to be down from where it was at last preseason and in the playoffs this past year. If we go and look at the recently sold transactions on Mahomes, of course there's buy it nows, but these are cards, again, that are cheaper, that are more offshoot, off-brand cards. If we were to actually go look at his most liquid card, which is his 2017 Panini Prism, which comes standard silver for all rookies in 2017. This card has a ton of transactions, as you can see, but it's important to go back and understand where this card came from. And this card in the Super Bowl time period of 2021 was a $12,000 card. But he is playing very well. The defense is putting a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks here. Carson Wentz took a sack. Sam Howell took 2 sacks. It's important to note also, Patrick Mahomes has developed a good connection with his tight ends, his backup tight ends. One, Jody Fortson, who has no rookie cards available, had 2 touchdowns in this game on just 5 targets. Carson Wentz went 6 for 9 in this game on 64 yards. Quarterback rating of 87.3. You can see how cheap his rookie cards are. We're going to do a 2016 Prism comparison study here. Carson Wentz does have a pop report of 756, but Dak Prescott leads that pop report from that 2016 class with 1,293, Derrick Henry 224, and Jared Goff a 473. And Dak Prescott currently with the highest at a $441 PSA 10, but not too far behind him is Derrick Henry, who's come down a little bit down to 337. You can see here, back in July, Derrick Henry was above Dak Prescott. Derrick Henry has not seen virtually any playing time yet in the preseason. So once again, recency bias definitely have an effect here. Carson Wentz all the way down at $68. Jared Goff only $10 higher than him, or $8 higher than him. That's what tells me that Jared Goff is a good buy. Jared Goff's in a much better situation. If I had to pick between the two, I would definitely invest in Jared Goff for $10 or $8 more, especially with that '1 overall draft capital from 2016. Sam Howell had a rough game in this one, going 10 for 18, 122 yards, a 53.5 overall QB rating with an interception. People are still throwing some flyers on Sam Howell. They're buying them in auction. There's a few buy it nows. Still fairly cheap considering. All right, it's prediction time at this point in the preseason. Who do you think wins the AFC West? Is it the Chargers? Is it the Broncos? Is it the Raiders? Or is it the Kansas City Chiefs? Let us know in the comments section below. Now back to the action. The third round rookie pick, Brian Robinson, started while Antonio Gibson rotated in. Brian Robinson outsnapped Gibson on early downs 2-1. Gibson received all the third down snaps for the first team, but that was only because J.D. McKissic was out with an injury. Antonio Gibson continued to play with the second team offense for the second straight week. This backfield will likely be a three-man committee all season, making it a headache, but because Brian Robinson went to Alabama, he was drafted with the day 2 pick. Just today in a buy now transaction, his Chronicles Spectra in the zone red autograph card out of 75 going for $30, so this is a respectable resale value. All right, now we gotta analyze this Steelers at Jaguars game here. Steelers just barely coming away with the win, 16-15, but we did get to see Trevor Lawrence in this game with the first team offense going 14 for 21, 133 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. That's an overall quarterback rating of 84. Let's look at those buy it now solds, and people are accepting offers on nicer RPA Trevor Lawrence cards. They're still going for several $100s. However, the big storyline from this game was the other side of the ball. Kenny Pickett going 6 for 7 in this game, throwing a touchdown, having 151 quarterback rating after Mitch Trubisky went 5 for 8, 60 yards, and took a sack. It's important to note that Mason Rudolph also put up 17 for 21, 127 yards, and a touchdown with a 25-yard long pass. Pickett showing a great connection with Pat Freiermuth, George Pickens, and eventually throwing the touchdown to Benny Snell, who still looks like the number 2 running back in that offense. Kenny Pickett's autograph buy it now sold transactions are getting quite high, so if these are cards you have held, I think you continue to hold them until he gets his first regular season start. A lot of transactions going for Kenny Pickett over the weekend. He's making a really strong case for that Pittsburgh fan base to give him a start sooner rather than later over Mitch Trubisky. The transactions have also increased for Pat Freiermuth. Now you can see his rookie ticket auto numbered out of 88, going for about $70. A lot of offers being accepted, but this is how the values go up on these cards because supply is dwindling quite fast right now on these two guys for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This beautiful optic red prism rookie ticket auto numbered out of 149. So remember guys, if you are adamant about finding what that best offer was accepted at, then you can come over to 130point.com, go to the sold eBay sales field, type in the search, copy and paste, and pull that up and see that it went for about $40. In most cases, you're going to see that that best offer was accepted about 80 to 90% of what it was listed at. Sometimes as low as 60%, but in most cases, it's going to be about that 80 to 90%. Now, it was good to see in this game Christian Kirk get back on the football field and have that wide receiver 1 connection with Trevor Lawrence, and reaffirm us that Christian Kirk is going to be heavily targeted in this offense and is going to be featured in 2 wide receiver sets with Marvin Jones Jr. Now looks like Zay Jones is going to function as that 3rd wide receiver and 3 wide receiver sets on the outside from Marvin Jones. But Christian Kirk is going to be on the field in virtually every offensive scenario. So that is exciting to see. We could see some transactions pop off for Christian Kirk. But currently you could argue that there is some more value to milk out of the Christian Kirk rookie cards. Definitely some room to go up from where they're currently at. People are taking some offers on his cards. It's an interesting situation because he's not a super young rookie. He is pretty young. We've also got to consider the fact that the Jaguars are only predicted to win a handful of games this year. So ultimately, he could absolutely dip just by way of losing and being out of the playoff contention. But nonetheless, we can see that this card still closed August 21st. Buy it now, $40. All right, now let's talk about this Raiders game at the Miami Dolphins here. And we got our first look at Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I didn't have Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill on the field. They were both resting. We got a good look at Chase Edmonds, Mike Gesicki with Tua. Tua in this game went 6 for 8 on 58 yards. No sacks, no touchdowns. That was it. Pretty limited playing time altogether, but that still equated to a 94.8 quarterback rating. And there definitely is an ascension and appreciation on Tua cards, but I would say that this is more so a product of this entire preseason cycle. Since they signed Tyreek Hill, brought in Mike McDaniels, brought in Chase Edmonds, improved the offensive line. They got the Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle highlights going in the training camp. If we look at the most recent transactions on Tua's cards, people are still paying a pretty penny. Here's a limited, beautiful 4-color patch here, autograph, but it's a horizontal format from a lesser desirable set and limited out of 60 here, going for $375 this morning, or even a Contenders Optic Rookie Ticket Auto PSA 9 going for $407 in an auction. That's a favorable number. Definitely holding Tua, looking to sell him into that week 1 game against the New England Patriots. The playing time that Chase Edmonds got in this game did benefit his rookie card sold transactions, but his cards are still going for a very, very low amount. Rookie Ticket Autos going for under $10. This signifies a buying window for Chase Edmonds to outproduce, to get to a respectable number. He is explosive. He is going to be featured in this backfield. Raheem Mostert has a very high fragility rating. Now, it's important to note, right, he's not depicted in that Miami Dolphins uniform. Cardinals uniforms are very polarizing, very different look from Miami Dolphins. So I'll be happy to see when they do come out with some 2022 Miami Dolphins Chase Edmonds cards. That'll be nice, but until then, his rookie card product is going to be the most liquid. And you can find some very, very, very cheap right now. Definitely worth some flyers, in my opinion. All right, my big takeaways from this Minnesota Vikings 49ers game is the fact that Kellen Mond is coming back down to earth in this game after being incredibly hyped up throughout the training camp and preseason week 1 process. Some hobbyists even claiming that he was being pumped up artificially, but he did have a pretty impressive college resume from Texas A&M. Kellen Mond, though, in this game goes 10 for 20 with 2 interceptions and a sack, a quarterback rating of just 21.3. Arguably the worst, if not definitively the worst quarterback performance this week 2 preseason. And some people are still buying his card in auction, a few cheaper buy it now transactions. I mean, he is a quarterback after all, and he is only in his 2nd year. So some people are still buying those and buy it now transaction, but you can see he's come way back down to earth compared to where his transactions were at last week. One consistent target of mine throughout the training camp preseason process this year has been Alexander Mattison, still one of the very best, if not the best, handcuffed running backs in the league to Dalvin Cook. You can see there are increased transactions for him, but they're still at a very low price tier, which presents an interesting opportunity to continue targeting Alexander Mattison in auction, autograph cards in auction, and try and get those for under $15 to $20. The 49ers rested all of their starters in that game. The Buccaneers got beat pretty bad by the Tennessee Titans here, in a game in which Malik Willis did play. We're going to talk about him in just a second. Kyle Trask took a lot of the work, and he played terribly. 105 yards, 4 sacks, had a 41.1 quarterback rating in this game. Now, some people are still buying Kyle Trask cards. A lot of them are going to be Gators cards. You can see there a Leaf Pro Set autograph card out of 100 going for $15. Rookie Ticket Auto, Silver Prism, 145 in auction. That is still too much in my opinion. One interesting investment opportunity is absolutely Leonard Fournette on that offense. We did get to see him a little bit in this game. He had 5 carries for 20 yards. That's a 4 yards per carry average with a 10-yard long run. It's good to see him get back on that field, man. He's looking svelte. He even had 2 targets. He turned into 2 receptions for 6 yards in this game. And I'm just blown away with how cheap his Prism PSA 10 cards. I'm blown away with how cheap the majority of his cards are. I feel that there are some very interesting deals you can find on him. Malik Willis, though, once again shows the talent with his legs. Taking 5 carries for 42 yards in this game, including a 24-yard long scamper. He also throws a touchdown in this game. Overall quarterback rating of 75.6, generating some buy it now hype over on eBay for those college autograph rookie cards. Quite a few transactions popping off on Saturday. People continue to get impressed by Malik Willis's raw athletic ability on the field. All right, let's move on to the Cowboys versus the Chargers in this game. And the Cowboys rested almost all their starters, and the Chargers rested virtually all their starters as well. So what we did get to learn from this game, what we did get to see is quite a bit of performance from Jalen Tolbert, who got 4 targets, turned into 2 receptions for 25 yards. For me, he still presents an interesting buying opportunity. We know that recently in joint practices, the Tennessee Titans have shown that the Buccaneers secondary is definitely a vulnerability, a weak spot. Cowboys do play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football in Week 1, and Jalen Tolbert is going to play a very nice complementary role to CeeDee Lamb, and he is a rookie on America's team. On the other side, Josh Palmer has clearly supplanted himself as the number 3 wide receiver. Had a couple really nice catches in this game, including a touchdown that he took to the house off a wide receiver screen. And you can definitely see the buy it now transactions, the auction transactions pick up here on Josh Palmer. I recently had a very nice flip myself. A card you recently saw on a mail day it was a Blue Optic Contenders rookie ticket auto. I just recently sold for $55. It was a card I picked up for $20 in auction. Some of these cards are still going for pretty cheap. I think they have a lot of room for growth. If anything happened to Keenan Allen or Mike Williams, I'm going to continue to beat this drum and put my flag in the ground on Josh Palmer. He is going to explode in that offense. The Eagles beat the Browns in a narrow victory, 21-20. The Eagles rested virtually all their starters. They did rotate in some running backs. Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, who had some solid outings, both put up a touchdown. Gardner Minshew in this game going 14 for 17, 142 yards, including a 24-yard long pass with a 101 quarterback rating. He remains one of my favorite backups in the NFL to invest in. If anything were to happen to Jalen Hurts, Gardner Minshew would absolutely get a tremendous amount of hype. Not a ton of buy it now transactions on him. He's firmly the backup there, but if he were to get the start, you could see these cards go up astronomically in value. He is one of those guys who's proven to be very competent on the NFL field. A beautiful championship rookie ticket auto numbered out of 49 going for $78 in auction is an absolute steal. And we touched on Deshaun Watson a little earlier and how his card should appreciate slightly slowly heading into his Week 13 return after the bye week against his former team in the Houston Texans. Look at these sold transactions over the weekend, though, of Joshua Dobbs here in this game. Joshua Dobbs is a 2017 rookie who went 14 for 20 in this game, but put up 141 yards, had a long of 22, also rushed in a touchdown, 4 carries for 47 yards, a long run of 36 yards with a touchdown, had an overall quarterback rating right at 90, and you could see this has caused a demand spike for his rookie cards over on eBay, including buy it now transactions of rookie autos. This is a great indication, guys, of which cards are most liquid within the hobby. It's like a perfect example. Here we got a National Treasures. Here we have a flawless dual color patch rookie auto numbered out of 25, right under $100. Here we have an Optic rated rookie on-card autograph hollow numbered out of 99, right under $100. And then you have a playoff contenders rookie ticket auto. That's literally my 4 favorite sets right there, except there's the Prism right here the Blue Wave rookie auto numbered out of 149 for $25 of a backup quarterback. He could potentially, if anything happens to Jacoby Brissett, or he's just not able to get the job done, I think Joshua Dobbs really made the best out of his opportunity and made a case for him to actually be the starter through the first 12 weeks over Jacoby Brissett. I mean, the Browns want to put themselves in a situation to be able to compete for a playoff run when Deshaun Watson does come back. And if Dobbs presents a better opportunity because of his mobility, maybe a little bit better decision making, he certainly presents a better opportunity than Josh Rosen, who went 7 for 20 against a third-string offense. The last big storyline of this preseason Week 2 action was with Tyler Huntley on the Baltimore Ravens, and it was who he was connecting with, but Tyler Huntley just looks so sharp out there on the field, and we saw this last year in some limited playing time. But look at the buy now transactions pop off for Tyler Huntley, who's got very few rookie cards of him in that Ravens uniform, his pro uniform here, sticker autos. His autograph leaves a little bit to be desired, but his optic rookie ticket autos going for about $75, $80 there. You can see a lot of it's going to be college product. PSA 10 rookie ticket auto going for $400 something. Tyler Huntley went 13 for 14 in this game on 129 yards plus a touchdown, had a 128.9 quarterback rating, and he was peppering rookie tight end Isaiah Likely with targets out of Coastal Carolina, 4th round draft pick, but this guy was absolutely dominant at Coastal Carolina, very young age, broke out at a very young age. Big body tight end here, put up 8 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown along of 31 yards. Isaiah Likely getting a lot of transactions, a lot of love here in the last 24 hours on eBay, including here a card out of Chronicles from Legacy Insert Auto out of 100. We got a refractor going for $49.95 in a buy it now transaction. His cards aren't popping off because he doesn't have a clear starting role yet, but he is absolutely going to be in that starting offense schematic because the Baltimore Ravens deploy 2 tight end sets more than virtually any other team in the league. You know, they take a run-heavy approach, and they love to deploy 2 tight end sets. And you can now see that even chrome refractored non-serial number cards of Isaiah Likely going for $65. That's a big spike. That's a big, big boom in rookie card values here for Isaiah Likely on the Baltimore Ravens, who looks like he may slot in as a 3rd or 4th target leader in that offense next to Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, potentially James Prochet, Devin Duvernay. The Bengals at the New York Giants, and we did get to see some more Daniel Jones action here. It was not great. He went 14 for 16, but he threw an interception, quarterback rating of 70.8. Of course, there are a few buy it now sold transactions as a result, but the card prices are very cheap, still pretty cheap. Surprising the transactions we do see, as we already know the Giants declined his 5th-year option, and at the rate that he's going, he's probably going to end up a backup quarterback somewhere in 2023. And with me already having Daniel Jones cards in my collection, I'm basically looking to sell, liquidate them, get out of them. As you can see, his base optic raw has gone down to $7. His PSA 10 Prism now at $50. These are really cheap. I just can't justify buying in with his decision making and the rate at which he turns the ball over. Definitely concerns me in this offense. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunity. Saquon Barkley is teed up to absolutely smash, but Daniel Jones is still getting a lot of playing time here in the preseason because he needs it. All right, guys, that's all the time we got today on the Football Card Quest. Appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you tune in next time. We've got new videos being released virtually on a daily basis as we're heading into the season. This is super critical hype cycle time right now that we want to be selling. Are there any opportunities to buy? I don't know. Stay tuned. Find out tomorrow. Let's dig in. Peace.